when I was, how old am I now? Zach, my husband, and I went up north to my mom. If you knew her, that is really a Jasmine thing to do. So I was just
Maybe.
going with it.
Story. Every crocheter has their own journey, their own path that they've followed. Different things happen, different lessons learned, things like that. So I'm super excited to dig into your story today.
Awesome, thanks.
Yay. So for people who may not know who Jacki is, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Jacki Chaplin. I run a crochet business. It used to be called Cotton Baby Crochet, but I've since rebranded and now I'm Works of Whimsy Crochet. I sell at markets. I've done like, I don't know, like 8 in the past like 5 weeks. I also sell online on Etsy where I do patterns, felt eyes, and finished makes, primarily custom orders, but I do have some like actual finished makes like on my Etsy. And I do crochet content creation.
So you're like all of the things, right?
Yes.
All
Yes.
of the things. And
I
you
try
have
to do all of
family
it.
too, right?
Yes, that is correct. I have 3 kids. I'm a stay-at-home mom. One of the kids is homeschooled, though I will say, for the record, she is probably going back to public school next school year, so like later on this year, because she is like not having a good
She
time anymore.
she needs
So
that.
yes,
Let's
so I
get
think that'll
her
be good
some
for
peer
her.
interaction.
Yes. But I do have 2 that are 4 and under, so they won't be in school for a while. My 4-year-old, he's got a December birthday, so we're looking at like 2 more years before he could start school. So
December birthdays. They're
yeah, I got those December birthdays. Very
gotta
expensive.
love them. That's right. That's
It's like
right.
having
All
2
of mine
kids
are.
instead of 3. Yeah, especially because like
Yeah.
you hit
All my kids, all of
the
my
unlucky
children,
potluck
and my grandkids.
or unlucky lottery. Yeah.
When did you start? Like, when did your crochet journey start? How old were you when you learned how to crochet?
Originally, I was like a child when my grandma taught me, and she taught me like flat things, and that was all out of my head by the time I was like an adult and was actually like seeking to start my business. So I actually started my business when I was, how old am I now? Okay, I was 28 when I started my business. It was last year. Um, no, the year before that, because I started in December. That's what messed because I don't even know.
It's
But
okay.
it was 2022, right? Does that sound right?
I
I
think
feel
so.
like you were there.
I think you and I started about the same time.
Yeah,
But
I think we were only 1 month off. So yeah, like November 2022, I learned to crochet. Delusion told me that I should immediately also start a crochet business. So I had that like up and running and was doing markets by December. I started the YouTube channel the following March. Yeah. Was
wow.
that the
So
best
did
way to
you
do it?
learn how to crochet because you wanted to start a crochet business, or what was your driving force to learn crochet again? Like to pick it back up.
It was kind of by accident. So this is like kind of the whole backstory of how we got to where we are. My sister had passed away in a car accident. We went up north, we as in like my family, my kids, Zach, my husband, and I went up north to my mom. Oh, weird. Gonna
I
thumbs up
it,
that, I
I
guess. Shout out Jasmine. What up?
what?
Oh,
Okay,
sick,
cool.
bro.
Anyways,
I was like my sister from beyond the grave, just giving me the old thumbs up.
that's right.
uh, if you knew her, that is really a Jasmine thing to do. So I was just
Maybe
going with it.
maybe it was her. Oh my gosh.
I swear stuff in my house gets messed with and it's her. I swear to
And
God.
she's like, I'm here. Hello. I love you.
Yeah, toys go off randomly that there's nobody near them, like in the middle of the night, so they haven't been touched for hours, and the dogs
Oh
sleep in our room, so there's like no way. Sometimes
gosh.
my lights occasionally flicker. It's fine. Um, But yeah, she passed. We went up north to where she lives, and where my mom lives to help pack up her house and things. And earlier that year, my grandma, my mom's mom, had also passed. So my daughter was like rifling through my grandma's like knitting and crochet stuff, and came back to Florida after all that with some knitting needles and some crochet hooks. And she was like watching YouTube videos trying to like figure it out. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're doing that wrong. Let me like just jump on this video too and see if I can like help you. Of course, it's not as simple as just watching a tutorial and like replicating it.
No.
So I was like, I've got to be good at shit stuff. I'm sorry. I've got to be good at stuff. Uh,
Understandable,
so
guys.
I just like watched it till I got it, and then I kind of liked it. So I'm like, this is cool. Started making stuff. Then I've got like this little entrepreneur that like lives on my shoulder. You know, some people have like an angel and a demon. I've got a how can I monetize this? And that's kind of how it happened. Why crochet? No idea.
I
Um,
because it was meant to happen. I get
yeah, it's just one of those things. It was like kind of totally by accident.
I
And
think that's cool though. I really think that's cool. Like you were learning it to help her and then you just kind of ran with it. Does she still
yeah,
crochet?
here and there, she'll do it if I'm like really into something and I'm making something cool that'll kind of inspire her to pick it back up. But you're talking, she touches her hook like once every couple of months. I don't go more than like 2 days without like picking up a crochet hook for
I
something.
feel that on a very deep level.
For the last like year and a half almost. I can't stop.
Crochet is
Uh,
life.
Yeah.
Crochet is
And I
life.
think it's a good hobby for people with ADHD because there's always like a new pattern to be made. There's always like a new stitch to master. You'll never be able to make everything. And then the same thing with running a crochet business. That's why I do like all the things with it. So if I get bored with pattern writing, I just like sell finished makes. If I get bored with like social interaction, I just go back to pattern writing or just crocheting my blankets for fun, you know? So,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So you are very much on the business end because there's everybody likes crochet for a variety of different reasons. Me, there's I don't know, I've got projects for every mood. If
Yeah.
that makes sense because I'm such an emotional person. And you're very focused, like hyper focused on the monetization of your craft, right?
Yes.
Um, what advice what advice do you have for somebody who is just starting their own crochet journey? Like, what advice would you
Crochet
have for
journey or crochet business journey? Because there are two different.
Yes, both. I'm gonna
Well,
say both.
crochet journey, I think because I told you I had like tried to jump in on that tutorial and it didn't work and I like couldn't figure it out and it like frustrated me. So what I did is like stripped right back to basics. And I watched Bella Coco's like stitch library and just
Huh?
made swatches of each stitch. And then when I went back to trying to do tutorials, it was like so much more clear and like easy to
Because
follow.
then it was like, "Oh, okay, all the pieces put together.
And
I
then I
get
knew
it.
like some of the terminology. It's like, wow, well, what a difference knowing what she's talking about makes and trying to do it.
Okay.
So as far as your crochet journey, don't be afraid to just make some like little swatches that have no purpose. I know everyone wants to like make a thing, but sometimes it's good to have like some foundational skills first, and then you can make all the things.
That's right.
As far as running a crochet business goes, don't listen to the people that'll tell you to underprice and you can't sell it for that much. That's a whole fucking lie. It makes me like want to grab people and shake them. Like, why? What do you mean no one will buy it for that much? Because I've sold plushies for like in the $100 range. And they serve zero purpose. So when I see people like making, I was just in a group, somebody made like this really nice crochet top, said it took like 6 hours and $5 worth of yarn to make it. And she was getting told to price it anywhere between like 30 and $50. In what universe? In what universe? Is that an appropriate price? But everybody thinks because the economy sucks that you have to underprice. And that's not true for twofold. One, um, crochet is a specialized skill, and crochet products are luxury items. You do not need them. If you want a cheap shirt, go to Walmart and buy your cheap shirt. If somebody's buying a crochet shirt, they're buying it because it's a crochet shirt. So we're kind of separated from like what the economy is doing. You're not going to go to a car lot, a luxury product, and like find, a cheap car. That's just not how it works.
That's true.
The cheap cars are like 20 grand still or more. And like that's a beater if you're getting a 20 grand car anymore,
That's
new.
true. I hadn't thought about it like that. That's a really, really good point.
Yeah, I'm like
Really
I'm
good
just trying to make money. And then two, if you take that, we'll take the high end price, which was $50 and 6 hours to make the one top. So you're looking at basically one a day. You make one every day for a month. You're talking like, about $2,000 worth of product if you sell it all. And that's like before any other expenses other than the yarn to make that. And you've worked like 270 hours just to make $2,000. That's not good math, considering you can get a regular job, work like 100 hours less than that full time, and probably make more than $2,000 a month anymore because they paid the average fast food
and not
worker
have the overhead.
15 an hour. Yeah. So at that point, what is the point? At crochet for pleasure at that point. Don't try to monetize it.
Yeah, I
Um,
think there's a very big distinction on crocheting for pleasure and crocheting for money. I think that the purpose of whatever you're making, and correct me if I'm wrong, the purpose of the project that you're making really is going to determine what you do with it, right? Like, say, if I'm making something for my grandson, it doesn't matter how many hours that I put into it, and it doesn't
Absolutely.
matter how much money I put into it because, like, let's be honest, he's 2. Like, how many toys do you know of in Walmart are like 20 plus dollars? So the amount of money that I put into the project, the amount of time doesn't matter because it's from my heart. But if I was to make that same, say, sweater, right, to sell, uh it does matter how much time that I put into it, and it does matter how much of myself that I put into it, and how much I want to get in return because it shifts. Do you see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? There's a mindset shift. It's fine. I just washed my tie. Can't do a dang thing with it. That ultimately happens when you're trying to make money from something, and I agree with you, underpricing is not the way to go. It doesn't create more
Minimum,
sales, it
you should
creates
make
more.
minimum wage. If you really want to like price and not really price for profit, minimum, you should make minimum wage.
That's
So at $50 an hour is not minimum wage. That should, everyone else in the country that has like an on the books job can make minimum wage. You should be too.
so going on the concept of a $50 item that took 6 hours to make and $5 worth of, materials. So at $50, you minus the materials, which leaves you with $45 in quote unquote profit. But if you split that, even say minimum wage, and you divide that, what is minimum wage? I guess it
It,
depends.
yeah, it
Let's
depends on
say
the state.
750, right? It depends on the state, but it's usually about 725, 750, isn't it?
You
Wait,
would divide it by 6 to see what her
divided by
hourly was.
6,
And I think it comes out to 750.
750 an hour.
So I
So
guess
that
if
only
she goes to
leaves you
Georgia, she's making more.
25 cents an hour to cover your lights, your home, and everything else that you have to have, your internet,
That's true. Yeah.
everything else that you have to have in order to make that particular piece. And you thinking like, what's see, I told you I can't do it. 25 times 6 is that's only $1.50. I don't
Yeah.
know about anybody else, but I know my housing and
And I wasn't even thinking
is
in terms of like fully living off it. I was just thinking in terms of like running a business off of that number. You cannot run a crochet business off that number, in
Well,
my
but
estimation.
and I guess I automatically think of living expenses because in like what's the point of having a business if you're not going to live off of it? Like
Yeah, that's true.
literally. I mean, if you want a little part-time side hustle, whatever, that's fine, but that's still only $1.50 profit. That's on a $50 item,
Yeah, it's
that's
just
not a
not
very good profit
sustainable
margin.
to be able to make only like up to $2,000 a month. She's capped
Right.
herself if she actually sets it at 50, because
Right.
that's $2,000 a month. And then, you have other expenses to take care of, like living expenses. But I was
That's
just
right.
thinking in terms of like crochet business. I buy lots of patterns, I buy lots of yarn. I pay for subscriptions on my computer like Canva to like make my marketing stuff. She's
That's right.
probably doing YouTube, but I pay like $50 a month for vidIQ to
That's
do
right.
like my SEO research for my YouTube channel. Um, Opus clips, to make shorts for my content.
That's
So I
right.
guess the content creation side of my crochet business is probably the more expensive side.
Yep. And I think that's one of the things as far as like crochet and business is there are so many different avenues to take. Do you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to just do markets and you don't have to just do Etsy and you don't have to just do whatever. You can do
Yeah.
whatever you want.
Any or all or a mix.
It,
And
yes,
you
exactly.
don't even
And
have to, because I do plushies mainly, but I'm kind of dabbling slowly into the wearables. And I've made
yes, me
baby
too.
things before. That's where I started. That's why my business name was Cotton Baby Crochet. But, just I make what I want to, but then I sell it based on the time it took. And, I've done fairly
Yeah.
well.
Everybody that I've talked to, and I've experienced this myself, but you kind of you lose your crojo every once in a while, right? And that's crochet joy. You just lose it. Your motivation for crochet, your desire to do it just kind of it wanes. You know, there's an ebb and flow. So, as a crochet business owner in your personal journey, and it's twofold for you because not everybody does a business, but I do definitely want to touch on that as well as just the crochet aspect. How do you overcome that? Well, like what do you do to kind of pull yourself out of that so you can get I want my Crojo back.
Yeah.
Need my
Um,
Crojo back.
my personal journey, like almost entirely directly overlaps with my crochet business.
Okay.
Other than the orders, that's the only thing that I do that I like have to do that I didn't necessarily pick for myself. And you'll find if you talk to like a lot of crochet business owners, typically when people do markets, they'll make a lot of a few different things, and that gives me no joy. So that's why like my personal journey is like, directly in line with my business. Because if I don't want to make a thing, I won't force it. The last market I went to, pot mushrooms are like one of my best sellers. I didn't feel like making them. I did not bring them to there. So that's how I kind of keep the passion. I just simply make the things I want to make. Uh, at times, I do struggle with the custom orders because, like, a customer will have a vision for it and they've paid me to make it, and it's just really not like giving me joy. And those are kind of the ones that I'll force myself in like 25-minute increments. We've talked about my Pomodoro method technique before, to just like get a little done at a time so I could get it done. But then there are some custom orders that I like fly through, and I've told the customer it'll take me 2 weeks. It's taken me 2 days because it's like good. But money is a very motivating factor. So if they paid me like $75, I can usually squeak it out, get it done. So
Fair
that's
enough.
probably not helpful for everybody, but I would just
Fair
say
enough.
like, keep looking through patterns until you find something that like brings you joy. That's why I have so many.
And you
Here.
do have so many. Oh my goodness.
That's a
Ugh.
stack. And then I've got a binder somewhere because I used to try to organize them. And like that's like hand height. Um, yeah, there's also a binder, a 3-inch binder. Uh, but I just stopped trying to organize them. I want to get a filing cabinet to actually organize them, but I'm just not there yet. But
Get there. Right now
yeah,
they've got a spot.
yeah. Oh,
Got a
it's a
spot.
nightmare every time I'm like, ooh, I remember I bought that one like cat pattern and I want to make that. And then I have to freaking dig through like what's got to be easily 200 patterns there, I would guess, probably more. So I just got to dig through like all 200 of them. And it's usually at the bottom, like every freaking time. It's like, so not a good system.
So you actually, and this is one thing I wanted to bring up too. Like I personally, I follow video tutorials much easier than I follow actual patterns. I can read a pattern. I don't have a problem with patterns. I'm still struggling a little bit with the, what do they call it? The chart picture.
Oh, yeah.
I
The
still struggle with those. I can read them. I'm a little slow on the draw. I catch up eventually and it will eventually kick in, but I'm not good with that. You, on the
I
other
need to look at a key to still read the charts to remember which symbols mean what.
Okay. So, but you prefer having like a printed out written pattern when you're working on something. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. This is probably not my best financial business decision, but I will go out of my way to pay for patterns, even knowing I can get them for free in video form, because I prefer to work from like a paper pattern. For me, it's more efficient. I also can like fully disconnect from all like technological sources if I wanted to with paper patterns. They travel better for me because I don't have a tablet, and Etsy does not let you like, you know, you cannot download patterns within the Etsy app. So if I wanted to download my patterns I bought through Etsy, I'd have to go through my browser, download it, and then it's going to be like this big on my phone.
Yeah,
And then doing a video out and about, that would just kill my battery like
that's true.
so
That's true.
fast. So that's why I like a paper pattern. And then I could just like, have it. And then I got this little handy whiteboard that like sits on a stand so I can have my paper pattern up.
That's really cool. And it clicked. Do you clip it up there, or is there just like a little stand for your pattern? Kind of like, those old recipe boards? Oh,
Yeah. So
okay.
it sits in this, and then it like I just usually slide the paper in. It's only meant to hold the board, but that top piece is a magnet, so I could actually stick it in. But it sits at like an angle, so the pattern just like lays against it.
That's
And I know I just showed that pattern, but that's technically a free pattern you could get on YouTube. So, well, we're talking about it.
cool.
You can find that one for free. It's the itty bitty mushy pot from Cable and Canvas on YouTube
Okay.
or on Etsy.
Or on Etsy. How has crochet helped mold you into the person that you are today? Like, what benefits has it had on your life?
I think it's helped reduce my anxiety because I've struggled with mental illness pretty much all of my adult life, probably in my teen years too. But when you're a teenager, you don't know shit about fuck, so you don't know if you're messed up. But in my adult life, I've had a lot of issues, and so I think crochet has helped like give me something to focus on that's like relatively productive, even though it's not like stay as productive as like cleaning your house. But there's like other things that I could be doing that are like more of a time waster than like this hobby that I can also like make money off of too. So there's that. And I don't know, it's just cool to have been able to like share that with people. Like I would never have met you without my YouTube channel. Um,
That's
and
true.
I've heard some like amazing stories just from customers and things at markets. Like this last market I did over this weekend, I had made I told you about it. I had made some duck wings for a pattern, but I forgot I wanted to make like three different colored ducks, and I made all the wings in the same color. So I just repurposed the wings into chicken tenders or chicken nuggets.
Yes,
Uh,
that was so stinking cute.
Things that turned out to be kind of nice, but made a customer cry because apparently, and trigger warning, her son had just passed away, 19-year-old kid, in an accident. And she's seen it and it said, spread your wings and fry. So she turns around and like loses it. And she's standing there with her mother and like her older teenage kids too. And so I'm just, not saying anything, but the grandmother, the lady's mom, turns to me and is like, she just lost her son and they had like a chicken nugget thing. So she like bought the thing. So like I wouldn't have like had that connection, and like I hugged her and everything because like I've experienced a lot of loss in my life. None of my kids, thank God, knock wood, all that. But,
Yes.
you know, we've
Yeah,
talked about some of my loss and how we relate on a lot of it.
that's right.
So yeah, I wouldn't have, if I didn't have my crochet business, be out there like making connections like that with people. And it was kind of lovely. And then also kind of sad. Like I'm crying out of market 10:30 in the morning.
Hey, you know what though? That's some difficult stuff to deal with, but
I don't think I'll ever make that pattern like that again. I mean, it sold the first market I brought it to, but that was like a special moment. And I think
it
I'm just
was.
gonna leave that with her.
I think that's really awesome though, because now she will have something that will forever remind her of her son,
Yeah.
even though he's
Yes, totally.
I'm not getting emotional.
I know it's so
I'm
hard.
not
Gosh,
getting
you get me
emotional.
like
It's
right in my
fine.
feels
It's
with it.
fine.
And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
because
I'm not
I've
getting
not
emotional.
been there personally, but I've been like the family member to somebody who's lost a child. A couple, my cousin also lost a child. So, and I guess my parents. So it's been around me like a lot, especially in like the last like 5, 6 years. So I'm like, damn,
Yes, this last
that,
5 or 6 years has been rough for lots of people.
yeah,
Lots and lots of people.
shake it off. We're good.
Yeah. Ah, wow. Actually, I have 2 questions.
Okay.
How do you choose the projects that you make? Because I know you only do projects that you wanna make, like, even if it's for your markets. How do you go about choosing those? Like, how do you know what to make when?
Um, I'm in a lot of crochet groups, so if I see something cool, I'll like hunt it down, find it. And it just, I like all kinds of different things. So I've bought dinosaur patterns, mushroom patterns, like all the classic things. And then I've bought like weird patterns, like the F-bomb pattern. So it just, if I see it and I like it, or if I'm really feeling like I'm in a rut, that's when I'll go to Etsy and I'll just type in crochet patterns or no sew crochet patterns and just scroll through page after page after page till something like brings me joy. And then I'll do that.
What are some of the mistakes that you've made, um, and the life lessons that you've learned because of those? Like, we'll say specifically with your business, and how do those life lessons transfer to the rest of your life?
Well, I don't know that it's full on life lessons, but I have learned a couple of like really like beneficial things. Like for instance, if you're going to a market and you have to leave your stuff overnight, maybe take your stuff off the shelves because a freak storm could blow through and knock all of your stuff into the mud. True story. We did salvage everything, but there was like hundreds of dollars worth of plushies that ended up in the mud. And now I'm just going to remove it and put it in a tote and leave the tote and they're covered. If I do have to do an overnight market and there is like, any sign of any weird weather. And then another thing is it just goes back to pricing. And I've learned personally, and I'm trying to like get this into people's heads that I talk to, it is okay to have a lane and stay in it if you're crocheting just purely for fun. Make all the giant expensive projects you want, grab out that like really expensive, fancy, like merino wool and like crochet your little heart out or run a business. There is no like middle line. That's a hobby business. It's either a hobby or a business. And I think that's helped me, make sure my business is profitable. And do I make a full-time income every month? No, sure don't. But do I have my prices set to have that be an option without having to sell every single last thing I've ever made to be able to even come close to like a full-time wage that month? Yes. So those have been like, really important lessons. Protect your stuff and price accordingly.
Right. Jackie, thank you so, so very much for joining me
Yay,
today. I
this
really
is
do
fun.
appreciate it, and I'm sure that there are a lot of people that really did need to hear what you had to say today.
Well, and you know how much I love to just talk about myself. So,
I thought that was a female thing
yeah, well,
or
I
a
feel
person thing because I know a lot of guys that are like that too now.
no one will admit it, but I feel like if you ever get into content creation, you just have like a little bit of like a narcissistic quality. Now, I'm not saying we're toxic people, but we would not put ourselves on camera and like in positions of authority if we didn't, think highly for the most part of ourselves.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
and no one will admit that, but I will.
Or at least fake it till you make it kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's where actually where you'll start is faking it till you make it. But now I've built like a little bit of like a little tiny bit of authority. Like I'm a drop in the bucket compared to like everybody else. But I do think I've carved out like my little place and I'm like happy with it. And do I make mistakes? Yeah, sure do. Uh,
Absolutely.
but
Celebrate imperfection.
yeah, I'm not so vain that I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking perfect, bro. I would love that because I'd probably be doing better if I was. But, you know, I just try to keep it real. And, if you like it, cool. If you don't, cool. And if you disagree, I would love to hear why and have like a healthy adult discussion. I think those are very important and that helps people learn and grow.
Awesome. Now, listen, if you guys want to get to know a little bit more about Jackie, I will put her link for her YouTube channel down in the description below. And thank you so much for joining me.
Can I plug my event real quick? I
Absolutely.
don't know when this will go up. I am doing an event called Amigurumi May. I'm going to share a free crochet pattern every day in the month of May on my YouTube channel and over on my website. They're not my patterns, they're just free patterns that I found that are relatively like good market makes. So I'm trying to release a video crochet with me for all of them. They won't all be done in May, but I have at least 5 going up for May right now, and there's 2 weeks till May. So you'll have at least 5 crochet with me so we could work on these together.
Oh,
And,
hey, hey, hey. Yes.
and now we've ran out of
Awesome.
clock. Right
Thank
down to a
you.
minute and 20 seconds.
That's right. So make sure you click on that link in the description below and go check out Jackie and make sure you join her for Amigurumi.